that we need to continue to stand strong to defend everybody's rights and freedoms.
Hey guys, how you doing today? Hey, whew, little nipply today. Had some actual nice weather for a little while. Anyway, except last 2 days where we were supposed to get 40 centimeters of snow, but we got like 6 inches of ice. Hey, I want to talk to you about Trudeau's April Fool's joke on Canadians. Yeah, I'll explain the lights in a minute. Anyway, I want to talk about Trudeau's April Fool's joke on Canadians here, because he decided to jack up the carbon tax, okay, to save the planet or whatever. And, you know, Canada produces 2% of the global emissions, but, you know, we got to gouge the living crap out of Canada, or Canadians. So, he raised it up $1.20 on 40 liters of gas in Ontario, is what I've heard. And what I've noticed is that, you know, we keep paying the price for all this stuff, and we keep having to put out. And if I can do an inset here, I want to show you something. If not, there's going to be a little cut, and I'm going to show you the little screenshot I took. But I'm going to explain this, leaving a pause for dramatic effect. Okay, just so I also know where to break it. So, the government has collected $6.3 billion in the carbon tax in 2022. And then, cut for dramatic effect. Then, they said that they were going to pay out more than Canadians have paid into it. Well, they only paid out 3.8 billions. Now, according to the rules of the carbon tax, they are supposed to put out, God, that thing's annoying. They're supposed to put out, 90% of all revenues generated from the carbon tax back to the people. And yet, when I look at this, $2.5 billion were not paid back to the people out of 6.3. I mean, it's a little less than half. I'd say it's about 40%, approximately. 40% was not paid back to Canadians. And this light isn't doing it. I deal with this light every night, and there's a whole reason why I'm here. But it's not doing it now. Anyway, $2.5 billion the government has kept, even though they're supposed to give back 90% of the carbon tax. Okay. Well, the thing I ask, you know, this is the third time he's jacked up the carbon tax. It's like $65 a ton now, effective today. Now, the thing I don't understand is, you know, you keep asking Canadians to pay the price, okay, for carbon emissions. And there was a reason I came to this light, because I deal with this light every single night. And this light is not synced, even though it's not doing it right now for some reason. Oh, yeah, it is actually going to do it right now. You see, this light is not synced at all, okay? It changes randomly. Well, I haven't pushed the button. It changes randomly, and it stops traffic on a regular basis when there's no traffic coming. And this happens on a lot of lights. And I'm sure in your town you have a light like this somewhere. Not sure why it's not doing it. This is really weird to me. It's probably because I'm videotaping it. This is so bizarre to me. It stops traffic on a regular basis with no traffic waiting to turn. And I'm sure you have a light like this somewhere. So I gotta wonder, you know, this has been going on long before carbon tax was ever introduced. When you keep asking Canadians to pay for the carbon emissions, but you keep putting in lights like this one. Oh, well, we got a car coming up, so now it's going to change, I guess. Yep, immediately. But usually it doesn't do this. It usually changes with nobody here. Anyway, you keep asking Canadians to pay the carbon tax, but yet we have throughout our cities and our towns and everywhere, we have lights that do this. They stop traffic for no apparent reason. And I'm sure all of you have seen a light that does this. Okay, for no apparent reason. There's nobody coming, there's nobody at the crosswalk, there's nobody crossing, but the light will change red and stop you, and you have to sit there and wait for a full cycle of the light. Okay, well, that's carbon emissions that are just spewing out of your car. A car produces less carbon emissions when it's at a steady pace rolling down the road. That car there is producing less carbon emissions than if he had stopped at that line and sat there and then had to accelerate to go again. Now, these lights have been around long before the carbon tax came along, and they're still around today. Why do you continue to ask Canadians to pay for the carbon emissions, but not do things like change the cycles of the lights so that traffic can flow? Stop these random changes of the lights where they say you can't drive through and there's nobody coming. I'd like to get another clip of this later. I'll see if I can get a clip of this later, because I don't understand what's happening right now. We'll see if we can get a clip of this a little later, and I'll show you what I mean. But if you won't correct things like this, why do you continue to come after us for money? You jacked it up 3 times, and this light hasn't changed once. This light has stayed the same. Periodically, it'll just randomly switch to a green light going that way with no traffic and stop all traffic on this main road. And this isn't even a main road down here. This is a secondary road. Not a side street, it's a secondary road. So, I don't know. Just things I was thinking about for Trudeau's little April Fool's Day joke. Hey, but you know something I did realize? $2.5 billion. That's pretty much what Freeland, a little more than what Freeland put into a company that doesn't exist. Imagine that. Well, this is just one little example of what a carbon waste it is imposed upon Canadians that are expected to pay the carbon tax, but forcing us to produce more carbon for no justifiable cause. I'm sure there's many others you know about. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Hey guys, I'm back. It's not the same corner, but it's I thought this one was better. You see, because there's plaza over here with absolutely nothing open, okay, and a plaza over here with nothing open, right? Okay, this is not even a road. This is just enter to both plazas. And now, this light here should do it in just a minute. While we're waiting for that to happen, I want to also bring up something else I noticed. It was that, see? Look at this. Look at this. There's nobody at that corner. I'm not close enough to push the button. Nobody here. Yet they just gave a red light here for absolutely no reason whatsoever except to stop traffic. Now, there's no traffic at this 4 o'clock in the morning because, well, I'm at work. But still, it's the point of this. Why is this light changing? If I was driving down this road right now, I would have to stop and wait for this light for absolutely no reason. Burning more fuel, producing more carbon. It's actually ridiculous. Anyway, the other thing I want to bring up as we watch this light, the other thing I want to bring up is the one thing I did notice about April 1st. You see, the carbon tax went up for Ontario, Saskatchewan, Alberta, Yukon, and Nunavut. It did not go up for the Maritimes. It doesn't go up till July, I believe it is, in the Maritimes, which is, and it didn't go up in Quebec, because Quebec's doing its own thing, I guess, and it didn't go up in BC, because BC's doing its own thing. All these are Liberal and NDP areas. They support the Liberal brand and the NDP brand, and it's funny that, you know, Quebec's its own little thing. Yeah. Trudeau's out of Quebec, so yeah. I don't know what Quebec's doing for their carbon thing, but I guess they have some sort of plan as well. And yeah, so it's just a little funny that all the provinces that are not in favor of Trudeau, again, there's nobody at this light except me, except the dumb fool standing out in the cold. It's all the provinces that are not supportive of Trudeau that are doing this. So, yeah. One more thing. Hey, Polievre, I got a question for you. You say you're going to dump the carbon tax? Are you going to refund the money to Canadians that have been robbed of all this money? Just curious. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Welcome to the Fringe.